Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland Reviewer, and welcome to Lost in the Wasteland, my weekly interview show, where I learn a little bit more about somebody else's perspective on movies. Except not this one. This is where you learn more about mine. What a twist. Wow. So this is the 100 and... now this is well into the 200s at this point. I think it's like 220 or something like that. Of Lost in the Wasteland. This is my 7th round answering questions, as I'm always the first one to answer the questions for this. But this is in honor of, this will be coming out the day before my 33rd birthday.
Right.
So I figured this would be a fun way to celebrate my birthday, is talking about what I love about movies and some music and some television and all kinds of, trying to shake up some of the questions. But I'm here with my wife, Jess.
Good to be here, Shane.
And she's going to be one asking the question, so she's the interviewer today, so take it away, Jess.
All right, let's get started with, if you could only watch a film in the theater one more time for the rest of your life, what would you pick?
I still want to watch 2001: A Space Odyssey in a theater. Still haven't figured out like when that was in theaters and actually going to do it. And if I could only watch one movie in a theater the rest of my life, I want it to be that one.
Oh.
Because, like, I got to the point where I have it on my 4K, beautiful 4K transfer and everything. I'm just like, I just want to experience that. I want to be sitting in the theater when the planets align and you just hear "Thus spoke Zarathustra," just like bang, and just be like, damn, this is cinema.
Peak cinema.
Peak cinema.
If you could add any song to any movie scene, what would the song and scene be?
I struggle with my own question here, because I was trying to think, like, do I just pick one of my favorite songs and force it into something? Like,
you were trying to do that.
Contemplating earlier. Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel and seeing where I should put it. I decided that I really wanted to think about a movie that I love, where I don't really love the music choices in an actual scene, and try to improve upon it. And I do love the Mad Max movies. The original Mad Max movie has a really like cheesy melodramatic like TV score, and that's one of my least favorite parts of the movie, is the score for that film. And I'm just imagining, and I'm definitely stealing this because I've seen a compilation video done this. I want to see the whole climax of the film where he's like chasing down this gang and killing all of them to Black Sunshine by White Zombie.
Huh.
Because it just has that like...
Love that.
And it just really captures that vibe of like, wow, this is like this intense, vengeful spirit in a really fast car. Because like, I'm just imagining him, you have Mel Gibson, walking into the darkness of this parking garage. And then slowly the black Interceptor that they made for him starts pulling out. And I'm just imagining like at the beginning of the song, and that just coming out, and then he hitting the highway and just like killing all these guys. It would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Except that song did not exist when this movie was made.
That's a good point.
It was probably
didn't use it.
It was probably like 10 years later, but that was the one that I came up with. I think that would have been really cool.
Love that. What is your favorite music album?
So this has certainly changed over time, and I've really contemplated this a lot recently. And it really was going to be a Rush album. It really comes down to which one. I love 2112, but the thing is like, half the album's the song 2112. And then like, is the rest of the album that great? You have like Passage to Bangkok and stuff like that, which is like a fun song, but like as a whole, it's not as consistently great. I was really close to picking Clockwork Angels because I just absolutely love that concept, steampunk fantasy action adventure concept album. Grace Under Pressure, which is my favorite of their like new wave influenced ones for sure, was up there, but I picked a basic one, and I picked Moving Pictures because it's just top to bottom. There's 4 incredible iconic Rush songs on this, whether it's, Tom Sawyer, Red Barchetta. You have YYZ, because Canadians, and Limelight. And, like, they're back to back to back to start this album, 7-song album. And even the other two, like Witch Hunt and, like, Camera Eye, it's just a really good album from top to bottom. And Rush is my favorite band, so that was an easy one.
Love that. Related, what is your favorite song?
There's definitely songs I listen to a lot more than this now, but when it really comes down to it, Simple Man by Lynyrd Skynyrd has always been my favorite song. And I appreciate what it means because, you know, at the end of the day, like, as long as you're living a good life, you're being true to yourself, and you could have, like, you don't need a whole lot to really be happy. I feel very special with what I have that makes me happy.
I'm
like
simple,
my wife.
So it fits in with the theme.
Wow, Jess.
It's very sweet, Shane. Thank you.
Wow, Jess. I say something sweet and then she
That's
says
so nice.
something disparaging about herself. That's exactly
You said it's not a bad thing to want a simple life.
You literally said, I'm simple. That's what you said. Yes, this is our relationship. I say something sweet to my wife and then she says something disparaging about herself to balance it all out. Is that not true?
I'm not arguing. You see me arguing?
Then she's moving on to the next question. But no, I love Simple Man, and just...
It's a good song.
It took a long time for me to actually hear the studio version of it, because like they just play the live version, and the live version has so much emotion, but the studio version has a little bit more detailed in terms of like the music, and like you can really hear all the notes and everything. It's so good. I love Simple Man.
If you could star in a biopic, which real-life person would you play?
So, this is very topical to our Halloween that we did, and my appreciation for fellow paisans and Italian Americans.
Oh, yeah.
And I would love to play Robert Morella, a.k.a. Gorilla Monsoon.
Oh, yeah.
Which...
That's who Shane was for Halloween.
I could totally sell him being a wrestler, too. Because it had the same damn hair and facial hair. Like, when I grow out my beard and it's all, like, sticking out, it definitely looks like Gorilla Monsoon. So, like, I could do that. And I would also love the... Yeah, and he was an interesting person. And, like...
He's buried, like, 5 miles from here.
Yeah, he's... Yeah, in Cinnaminson, New Jersey. He's one of the first great monsters of professional wrestling. Monster heels. I'm a huge wrestling fan. And then he's one of the most iconic announcers in the history of WWE. And him announcing, like, WrestleMania 3 when Hulk Hogan slammed Andre the Giant. And just, like, it would be so fun, like, acting against whoever's playing the body, Jesse the Body Ventura, Gorilla, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and Macho Man Randy Savage.
I did love watching him yell at that guy. That was a great video. You could just tell that he was like
old man mad. But no, I would love to play Gorilla Monsoon. I feel like it was a toss-up between him and the first true great Italian-American professional wrestler, Bruno Sammartino, who was an immigrant and basically was like the champion of all immigrants that he represented when he was champion for like years. But I feel like I fit more of a Gorilla Monsoon vibe than I do a Bruno Sammartino vibe. So.
Understandable. If you could choose one person to record all audiobooks, who would you choose? Feel specific.
Why? Who did you think I was going to say?
I don't know. It just feels like a really specific question. Who is it?
I think it's an interesting question, which is why I wrote it, and I'm going to ask people eventually. Charlton Heston.
Or you get the Ouija board out. Get the ghost recorders.
And go back and re-record every audiobook ever made.
Yeah, spirit recorders.
He had such a great voice. And, like, obviously he's my favorite actor, but, like, he had such a great voice. And I was reading his autobiography and was, like, reading it in his voice. And I would love... Because, like, he does voiceover at the beginning of Armageddon and Hercules. Mm-hmm. And he just has that strong voice. And
masculine.
A close second was actually Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like that would be a great, like, when I read No Country for Old Men,
the Sheriff Bell.
All of Sheriff Tom Bell's little diatribes that he goes on at the beginning of every chapter, I was listening to that in that West Texas accent that Tommy Lee Jones had at that.
That's some classic old guy crap right there, too.
Yep, 100%.
We love that. What is your favorite book and book series?
1984 has always been my favorite book, and it still is. It's my nightmare.
Topical.
Yes.
If we don't laugh, we cry.
It's so funny because, people will be like, 1984 is about the left wanting to be, like, controlling your whole entire life. And to be frank, it's also about the right because they also love big government no matter how much they tell you that they don't. And want to, and yes, the farthest right you can get is freaking fascism. So.
Well, I think if it's always furthest, also like the extreme communism where it's like everything controlled.
Well, to be fair, I think the true far left is anarchy.
I'm not smart enough to know.
Well, that's like, no. It's like, which is very interesting. So going back to...
the opposite of fascism is anarchy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like, going back to Clockwork Angels, Russia's high concept rock opera that they did, the whole entire conflict is between the watchmaker, who is a fascist controller of everybody, who controls everything down to the T, with every single, like, everything needs to be on time, it needs to be this, it needs to be that.
He controls the trains and finances.
He sure does. And then you have the anarchist, who is his foil, who is constantly causing chaos to the system. Fun. So, no, 1984, and George Orwell, I love Animal Farm, too. It's another one of my favorite books. It's such a rich book, 1984, and it just keeps getting more and more topical, which is unfortunate.
They knew they were the canaries in the coal mine.
And then book series, I really tried hard to think about books that I would put up there that weren't basic. It wasn't the Magic Tree House books. I do love them though.
Boxcar Children.
I've never really read them. Oh. One close one that I almost chose was the Space Odyssey books. So like 2001, 2051, 2078 is it? And then 3001. And I really love those books. Pendragon's up there. That was a book series that I really enjoyed. Gregor the Overlander books I really loved. But if I had to think about Percy Jackson's also up there. If I had to pick what I have felt so connected to more than any other book series in my life, also another really close one was a series of unfortunate events. But it had to be Harry Potter. Because like I went out every morning they came out. Yeah. Went to Walmart. Got my book.
Spoiling in line.
And,
Remember when people were spoiling the last one in line?
I'm not enough of a night person to go out to a midnight premiere for a book. I'd hated doing that for movies.
I did it once when I was young and spry.
The greatest thing that they ever did was start opening night at like 5 o'clock
the night before they're like, here
movies.
You go, old people.
But Harry Potter, I don't think I ever felt so connected to a group of characters before. It was something where it's like, I felt so emotionally attached to these characters. It was a whole part of my childhood growing up. Because I read the first book when I was 10. And then as they came out into high school, going out to Walmart, just grabbing them. Also a giant pile of books that they just had at the front of the store. Oh yeah,
they had like a shrine to Harry Potter.
Get it, and be done in 2 days. And I would distinctly remember reading in my grandparents' living room and getting terrified reading Harry Potter for the first time because of the scene with the dead unicorn out in the Forbidden Forest and just being like, oh my god. And then all the way up to reading Deathly Hallows and so many layers of connections and how it all pulled together. Harry Potter has made such a big impact on my life as a reader. So, yeah. I've loved a lot of book series, I've loved a lot of books, but I don't think anyone has made that big of an impact.
Who is your favorite supporting character from a movie?
Walter Sobchak.
Should have known. All right, next one.
So, from The Big Lebowski, John Goodman's character, who is an asshole, but he's right. I love John Goodman. He's one of my favorite actors. And Walter is such an amazing character because he's full of contradictions. He's full, like, this whole attachment to Vietnam and how everything attaches back to Vietnam.
He's a little self-centered.
He is very self-centered. Him being a converted Jewish man. And the Shabbos Shabbos.
I love that. It's not like a library card. You don't just turn it in.
And stop being Jewish, dude. And him being, like, he's that friend. Mm-hmm. Where, like, you could tell, like, him and the dude are best friends, but Walter gets on the dude's vibes all the time. And he's just like, calm down. Walter's like, calmer than you, dude. Calmer than you. Calmer than you. It's like...
I'm going to finish my coffee.
Prior restraint. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to finish my coffee. He's so extra. Yep. Everything. Market zero. Just everything about that character.
I feel like we all know someone like that who's 0 to 100. Just immediately.
12-year-olds, dude. Just
look, the Jesus deserves that.
Yeah, just Walter's endlessly hilarious, endlessly watchable, and John Goodman plays him perfectly. And the fact that he's based off of John Milius, who wrote Conan the Barbarian and Apocalypse Now, and just looking at him like, the look too, the glasses, the pristine trimmed beard, exactly how the high and tight. It is, everything is perfect. It's fantastic.
If you could join a group of people in any movie, what group of people would you choose?
The bowling team is a very close one from The Big Lebowski, but I have to say, I want to be friends with the guys from I Love You, Man. Like, the second I saw that movie, I wanted to go to a Rush concert with Paul Rudd and Jason Segel. I just want to be their friend. I want to be like the third friend in that group.
On the tricycle?
Just... I would be such good friends with them. I was trying to think of, like, characters in movies who love movies. I'm like, I don't want to be part of the group and scream because I don't want to die.
It's only scary movies.
But, like, I remember watching I Love You, Man for the first time. Like, I would totally be friends with these two human beings. And it's also Paul Rudd and Jason Segel. And why wouldn't you want to be friends with them?
They're two of our goofiest white dudes.
The Big Lebowski's up there, but also side one would be the Muppets. I would 100% be the lone human in a Muppet movie. I will do it. Sign me up right now, Disney.
This pitch.
Send me a contract.
You could be the Nora.
Nora! I'll be the Swedish chef. I'll be the Swedish...
He'll be the hands. He's got great hands. Look how big those hands are.
I'll be the Swedish chef's hands.
He can manhandle so much chicken. I saw a fun fact that was like, Swedish Chef is the only... Fun fact, Swedish Chef's the only Muppet with hands. And I'm like, is that a fun fact? I don't love it.
It's just a weird fact.
Fine, yeah. I mean, it's a fact about him. Last question, Shane. If you had to start a podcast about any topic, what would it be and what would be the formatting and schedule? This is a very Shane question.
Well, because I thought this would be interesting to ask other people. So I do a shit ton of things already.
Look at him.
So, but... So how I treated this question was, if this is what I did for a living, and this was like what I was committing to, and I had the time, I would totally start a retrospective for the Criterion collection. I would start from Criterion 1 and watch every single Criterion movie. I would do the background, stuff like that, do the film analysis, and find, like, a fun way to cap off the show with, like, a fun discussion question from me and my guests who might be on the episode for that, and really go deep dive into each of these films. It would be a daily podcast, which is why I'm saying, like, if I did this for a living.
It's a lot of content.
It is, and being able to go through the whole entire Criterion collection.
Also a lot of content.
Which would still take me about 4 years doing it daily. But it would be worth it if I could. Even if it was like a weekday thing. An episode came out every day during the week, and I took weekends off and stuff like that. It would be the coolest thing, for certain. Either that, or do a podcast where I do the movie, like, film of the day. And in an ideal world, I would be sponsored, and they would be giving me money. So, I recommend the Criterion Channel and also Max a lot. So, if you're listening, I would love a sponsor. But that's my pitch.
Thank you.
And that's all.
Delightful round 7.
There we go. And
I thought I was the interviewer here.
Well, I was waiting for you to wrap up.
Thank you.
Wrap up.
That's it. For delightful. I don't remember all this stuff. I barely remember what I ate for breakfast today. Are you kidding me? I can't remember the pitch.
Well, Jess, thank you so much for coming on and being the interview for today so that I didn't just ask these questions into the camera.
Happy to be here and
Thank
ask you questions.
And thank all of you out there. And also, I've been doing this for 220 weeks, something crazy like that. And this is another year I've been doing this, another birthday. I've been doing this since 2016 with my YouTube channel. I started this interview show in 2020, if I'm not mistaken. So, thank all of you for going on this crazy ride with me. And I have no intention of stopping. So, continue to keep watching
This is a threat.
Wow, Jess.
But
thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.